disappearing. Now it's recording. Again, they have all these buttons and you just don't know when to push them and when it's going to go. All right, let's hope we're recording now. Look, I will. Unmute. Need a sound engineer. Okay, let me let these dry a little bit, and what we'll do is we'll kind of do a tree in the background there, so we get a little bit of this going. Now, obviously, you don't need to do it this fast, right? We want to take our time. So I'm mixing some Payne's Gray in with a kind of a dark green, or sap green. Using the flat brushes because they will give me a really nice tree trunk. And I can, I could start at the bottom or I could start at the top, and I'm going to push a little harder at the bottom so it gets a little wider. Right, add some more water. And then we're going to put the branches on, but not, what we want is to kind of have everything sort of blend together. So I'm going to add, keep thinking Winslow Homer. I actually like it without the, I think that looks pretty good too. Okay, so we want to kind of squiggle the brush around. And you can choose another one, different shape or different size. Right, there's a little bit of other kinds of trees in here. So we could add some Prussian maybe. And what I'm doing is trying to get this done so that my tree trunk doesn't dry and become really obvious. Right? We've also got this, right, the Flora brush, that little pointy one, which I always forget that I have, and then I remember, oh my gosh, it makes for this trees. So, okay, because you can really, you can get some branches in, kind of make this as squiggly as you want. It's got a nice point. I'm also using a lot of water, right? Kind of putting that on at the same time. See if we can get a branch to go maybe behind a rock here. Yeah. I'm also adding more water each time I put stuff down so that it's going to kind of blend. Kind of want it to all sort of blend together. So once it dries, it's going to be, one giant clump with just a few different colors in it. And we can do that by, it is good. Gosh, look at, it's like without even trying, you can get this really amazing looking trees.
Is that just a generic pointy brush?
It's called, the shape of it is, it's named Flora, okay. And it's a Lowell Cornell brush, and I've lost the information, but it's on that list of favorite brushes that I have. It's one of the ones that I use a lot for this. It's originally used for, I think, for painting leaves. That's why it's called a Flora, okay. Because you can get this nice petal shape, or leaf shape. Oh. Here I'm going to drop in a little lighter green in there. And, not combine them. I'm just going to let them kind of sit next to each other. But because I've added so much water, they're gonna blend together anyway. Right? So we want to cover, we want to cover enough of the trunk that it doesn't look like, oh, there's a giant tree trunk with no leaves on it. So put enough on, save some of the white, right? A little bit, if we can.
The white behind it.
Right, the white or the sky, yeah. Because that's what's so, pretty about the picture is the silhouette of the trees there. Yeah, let's see if we can get one more over there. So you just kind of play with it. Doesn't matter if maybe there's a few that are not connected, something like that. That's okay. The brighter green up here is actually a kind of a maple tree that's sort of in the front. You can just kind of keep playing, but keep it light and loose. I might leave that. Let it dry. You can always let it do another layer after. Okay. So, let's move all the wet stuff out of the way. And let me show you what we can do with these rocks. So here's the crayon. I'm happy with this because it's got a few sharp edges.
So is that just wax?
It's just paraffin. That's right. So I'm using this is a fairly rough paper. So I'm just kind of rubbing it on the surface, and it's going to give me, a little bit of rock texture on here. Whoops, a broken edge, and then now we have another nice image here. So let's see. You could put some in the water or not. Doesn't matter. And let's see.
And that won't come off, right?
That's right. The wax is on there. So that's why I wanted some color on it first, because we're not going to be able to get any on later. All right. So let me see. All right. So I am also going to start with light blue. Maybe some of this. Right, we want that to kind of blend a little bit. There's a little stuff in here. I'm going to try and get that tree before it got too solid. You don't have to get too dark. It doesn't have to be, super, super black back here. And we don't have to put all of those rocks in. But what I'm going to do is kind of put in some shadow here, or the underside of some things. Right? And then before it dries, I'm gonna clean my brush off, and let's just see. Let's see how the wax is working on this rock here. No, not bad. I didn't put that much on actually. So I might let this rock dry and put another layer of wax on it. Right, so that I can get a little more color in there.
So you're preserving the layers.
Exactly. It's kind of cool that way. Right, let's see what this one is. Right. So what you do is kind of come around and let's try the dark brown one. This one's going to get something else. You can see that though we can get a little texture on. I could do it while it's slightly wet, so that things are not totally in high definition. That's okay, because it's not like we need to see every little thing here.
What color is that?
I'm back to Payne's again.
Okay.
I'm putting in the sienna is really nice too. It's fine. Yeah. Burnt sienna, a little yellow ochre. This is some of the beach down here. And I can try, put a little of that in some of the other rocks. Anyway, it's so fun to use that, the little bit of wax on there because you get this texture that you couldn't get normally.
I never thought of layering it like that, but putting
Right, you got to
starting
put
and
something on
putting it on.
first, and that's what preserves.
and then put more
the
on, and
the thing.
yeah.
Right.
that's so cool.
Yeah, and what's great is that you'll never lose these the light areas. Right, so I can go back in, and I can really darken this again. Kind of try to make it a little bit of a more angled thing. And it'll keep all that wax will stay. So you can make it really dramatic if you want.
So the temperature goes up to 99 one day.
And then it all melts. We've been using a lot of wax lately. Anyway, works great. So crayon, candle, anything. Beeswax would be fine too. But and you can see how nicely this is starting to dry. So it's not. It's a little shiny, but not totally. So I'm going to come in and drop in a little bit more water so that it kind of maybe blooms in a couple of spots. Since we really got used to things blooming this year because nothing ever dried. Right? Yeah, and then, I can come back in and add a little bit more. I'm trying to use the same kind of colors for the sky and the water.
So, just a question about the water.
Yeah.
You can do the same with the water, and instead of when I've had white spot or white areas in the water, I put that masking stuff on.
Yes.
But if you want to keep it that color, you could just use
You can use the crayon. It comes out. It actually does really well on water. This one doesn't have any crayon on it, and I've got this little flat brush. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and save some of the white, and I'm sort of just skipping around here and adding some tiny little squiggles, right? You want to just kind of keep going straight across, and you can keep adding more and more. Leave some of the white, don't forget. There's also a few little shadows or reflections kind of in the water. It's pretty dark. So I can kind of pull those out.
What color are you using for them?
It's supposed to be Payne's, but it's pretty green.
Oh, I was going to say, it looks a little blue. That's what I was going to say, too. So is there blue in that?
Oh, there's always... Payne's Gray has blue in it, yes. It's a very bluish gray. That's why we like it so much. But yeah, let's come in and just get in a few... Maybe it's just a few little darks, right? And try and simplify this. I keep thinking... the flat is helpful because it lets you do those kind of angles. You can sort of paint around things.
So your copy looks
It's pretty
much lighter.
Yeah, we don't have to go this dark. I did one first. I did paint a dark one, and then I think I went back in and added more water and lightened it up because this is more interesting than, say, just totally black.
Yeah.
But you can try it. You can do it any way you want. And I want to add more dark in there later, right? Because I know I added a lot of water, so that's going to dilute things. So let's see. We'll come
Was
in.
that an extra copy?
Yes, I have one for you.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, we'll add a little bit more. Pick that up and have that move around.
I like the darker.
Yeah, the dark is nice. That is definitely how I started. So this is a few, and it's hard to get dark, right? Because it always lightens up a lot.
Right.
So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, right?
That looks great. Yeah.
And just put WH in the corner, I think, right? Or W Homer, not sure which one.
Oh, yeah, right.
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 Okay.